Nope. That's a big no for me. Is that it? Is that the whole ride? This is another Deaths at Theme Parks. Viewer discretion is advised. This story happened at Six Flags Great Adventure, and in particular it happened on a ride called Lightnin Loops. I took this image from an old news clip about this story. The ride opened at Six Flags Great Adventure in 1978. It was a dual shutter coaster. I'm not 100% sure what that means. And its top speed would be about 45 miles per hour. And it had these big old loop-de-loops. I cannot do those. That's absolutely horrifying. June 17th, 1987 would be the beginning of the end for Lightnin Loops at Great Adventure. A 19-year-old woman who was visiting from Chester, Pennsylvania, she had been buckled into the ride, but unbeknownst to her and the staff apparently, the over-the-shoulder harness was not properly put into place. And the ride operator did not do the proper safety checks to make sure that once all the passengers were in, that all of the safety mechanisms were locked into place. That failure to do that one small thing led to a horrible tragedy. The 19-year-old woman who was not properly secured at one of its highest points on the ride, which would have been about 70 to 75 feet off of the ground, the woman's shoulder harness came completely undone, and the woman fell about 75 feet to the concrete below. It caused an immediate and severe skull fracture amongst other broken bones. Unbelievably, she was still alive when she hit the ground, and she would be rushed to the nearest hospital. But unfortunately, she would end up succumbing to her injuries, and she passed away. And all of that could have been avoided if they had just done the most basic, most simple safety test. The investigation would show that there was no malfunction with the coaster itself, that this was an error done by the person operating the ride at the time. But unbelievably, Great Adventure was only fined the maximum amount of $1,000. This was the same theme park where back in 1984, so a few years before this, where the Haunted Castle attraction burned to the ground, killing 8 people and injuring 7 more. It's really kind of wild that, if you really think about it, like we put our lives and our safety in the hands of complete strangers who are operating these attractions, who are meant to be continually checking and inspecting these attractions to make sure they're still good and up to code. Like, we rely on that, but time and time again, we're failed. Now, all criminal charges would eventually be dropped in this particular case, or I should say there was an acquittal. I know the family sued, but I don't know the outcome.